concept that we're going to talk about today is forward energy. Forward energy is a bedrock, foundational concept in Wing Chun. It is so important for you to not only understand up here about forward energy, but also to understand here about forward energy. The definition of forward energy that I want you to have, so that you can then think about this and apply it, is this. Forward energy. Every block, strike, kick, even the intention of your mind, or your mind's intent, must have forward energy. Every block, strike, kick, even the intention of your mind must have forward energy. So very important. So let's break down and talk about each one of those, in those aspects of forward energy, those areas that I just talked about, block, strike, kick, and the intention of your mind. Of course, a punch or strike is going to have forward energy. It's going forward. It's going to have forward energy. That's not hard to understand. The next one, being a block, it may be a little bit nebulous, or it may be not as clear about the forward energy. Some people will block outward this way, thinking that, okay, I'm at least getting it away from me, the oncoming force getting away from me. Instead of that, in here in Wing Chun, we don't want to block outwards. Instead, we want to block forwards. In other words, we're deflecting the energy or oncoming force. We're deflecting that oncoming force away from us. We're not trying to stop it in its tracks. The reason we don't want to do that is because there's always someone out there that is larger or stronger than you. So if you're trying to stop a strike that is from someone larger and stronger than you, and you just try and do it through brute strength, then you're just doing strength on strength. And whoever's bigger and stronger wins. So instead of that, let's take that advantage away from the bigger, stronger person and not play their game, so to speak. In other words, the old saying goes, you don't want to box a boxer or kick a kicker or wrestle a wrestler. Same thing, you don't want to try and be stronger than someone who is stronger than you. Instead of blocking, a much better method is to redirect the oncoming force off of you. So, how do we do that? Well, with a block that is going forward and has forward energy on it, we're not trying to do anything but deflect the oncoming force off and away and around us. In other words, if a punch is coming, I don't want to block it off that way. Instead, I want to go forward. Gansao, or low hand block. Gansao, I'm not going out, I'm going forward. Forward. Gansao with counter punch. Both are easily forward. Punch is forward. The Gansao doesn't go this way. I'm punching one way and then it goes that way. Instead of going that way, you go forward with both of them. Almost so much so, the punch lands right on top of the hand. The Gansao, in our Gansao drill, the hand is irrelevant to the actual effectiveness of Gansao. Because we're using our forearm, the first 4 inches of our forearm, we're using that to make contact. The hand is simply used as a guide. The hand you want to line up in the person's center. Use it as a guide. Even if you didn't have hands then, you would still be able to do Gansao drill and the Gansao. Because you're deflecting with a forward energy. For example, James, come up here for a second. Thank you very much. If he's standing here and he's throwing a punch at my bladder area, instead of me going out like this, which will allow him to come right over and hit me, much like the Three Stooges, where they hit one thing and it comes up and hits you like that. If I'm doing that kind of stuff, he can come right around because I'm going out. Instead of that methodology, I'm going to go forward to him. He throws a punch, there. That's forward. And the other hand, come throw a punch forward towards him, not out. Okay? Because he's going to go right around, boom, and hit me. Instead, I'm going forward. Okay? All right. And thank you. And that's the way you want to attack his attack. Instead of thinking of it as a block, Gansao being low hand block, think of it as you are attacking his punch. He's punching you down low. If you think just block, then you're thinking defensively, and it may be weak, and your hand may come back towards you. Instead, make sure your hand is closer to your opponent than it is to you. So you're attacking the attacker. You're taking the fight to the attacker this way versus having it come back to you. If I have it come back to me, he'll punch right through that. I need forward energy and forward intent on this arm going forward. With that forward energy and forward intent on my arm, it could actually hurt the guy's arm that's punching. Because you're using the ulna, U-L-N-A, the ulna bone to block his punch. So if you think of it with forward energy, you're actually attacking his attack. Okay? So forward energy in a block is very important to think of. Forward energy in a block. So we got block, we got strikes, we got kicks. And kicks are pretty simple. You want to kick forward. That's easy, unless you're kicking someone that's behind you, obviously. But if you're kicking forward, that's pretty simple to think of. Okay, my kick needs forward energy. Pretty simple. When we're doing the Sunum Tao form, there's even an area where we're going backwards with a backwards movement. That backwards movement even must have, excuse me, that backwards movement must even have forward intention. How do we do that? Well, we use our mind and put forward intention into our arm even when we're going backward. For example, if I'm doing Tan Sao, Yun Sao, and then coming back here, I'm dropping my elbow down, I'm coming back. It looks like my hand is coming back towards me, okay? And it is, it's coming back towards me. But not because my hand's doing this, not because my hand's coming back. Look, if I did that, my elbow would stay out here, my hand coming back. Instead, drop the elbow, bury the elbow. When you bury the elbow, the hand has to come back. The elbow's in charge of the hand. The elbow puts the hand in its proper position. So, the elbow comes back. But if I don't have forward energy, then that can just get pinned to my chest. James, if you want to come back up again, he's going to just push on my Man Sao to Wu Sao. Stand right there, and come up, and he's pushing, and when he pushes, go ahead and push, it comes right back to my chest. I have no forward energy. I'm just doing movements, and I have no forward energy at all. But if I use my mind and energize my arm with forward energy, I come out, I'm under my own speed. He's pushing me back. Okay, hold there so I can drop my wrist. Hold down here. There. Now I'm coming forward. Okay? That's obvious. I've got forward energy on it. I'm going forward. But now he's pushing it back to my chest. Great. I'm not getting collapsed. Because I have forward intention here and here instead of getting collapsed. Okay? So he's pushing me back. I have no forward energy. Pushes me back. I can go and do a backward movement with forward intention. Forward energy. Okay, thank you. So, every block, strike, kick, even the intention of your mind must have forward energy. Okay? Forward energy is pretty much one of the founding or basis of Wing Chun. And if you don't have it, you're going to be found lacking. So please, when you do your Sunum Tao form, when you do Wing Chun drills, and especially, of course, when you're sparring, always have forward energy. When you're doing a Jiao Sao, instead of just going in a circle, go in a spiral forward towards the opponent. Give that forward energy. When you're doing a Bong Sao, don't just go in a circular movement like this. Go forward. Yielding probe. Probe forward with your Bong Sao. When I come around and you're doing Junma turning here, and I come around and hit your arm, I'm checking to see if that side here, your blocking side, has forward energy, or if you're getting trapped. Everyone thinks about the punching side and forgets about this side. Okay? So, energize everything with forward energy. Alright? Alright, good. That's the concept of forward energy.